So I hear you guys are having a little disagreement. What's going on?
Well, I think it's a Bible question, but I'm not so sure that...
What does Jesus say about kissing? He's got to be against it, right? I mean, the whole Judas thing.
That doesn't mean anything. What about the whole book of Song of Solomon?
I don't know what half that freaky book is about. And anyway, that's Old Testament.
You can't just throw it out because you don't understand it, Bram.
That's not what I'm saying. I just can't see how Jesus can be cool with kissing.
But you can't just say that. You have to back it up with something.
Guys, okay, stop. Seriously, you two have to chill. Look, we said we should ask Mr. B, and we're here. So let's see what he has to say. Mr. B, is Jesus cool with kissing?
Okay. Is Jesus cool with kissing? Well, he never said anything about it. The Bible doesn't go into detail about a whole lot of things that you guys are going to have questions about.
But isn't it where we go for answers?
It is, but like I said, you're not always going to find a detailed answer about what you want to know, specifically. But that doesn't mean there isn't an answer. Sometimes you have to step back a little and ask what your question is about. It sounds like you're asking about what's okay to do with your body. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's okay to feel a little uneasy talking about that kind of stuff. But good on you for asking and seeking wisdom from the Bible. That's great, kids.
Mama Luma's right. I really appreciate you asking, even if it isn't easy to talk about. And I think you'll be glad to hear the Bible has an answer.
It does?
It does. The Bible gives us some instruction about how we ought to think about our bodies.
Like that they're temples and that God dwells in us.
That's right. In 1 Corinthians 12, Paul talks about the body and how it works together, and that no part is more important than the other. He's giving an example of how the church is supposed to work, but he also says some good things about how we treat our bodies, or how we ought to anyway.
There are parts that we treat with honor, and some we treat with modesty.
Modesty. That means hiding what we're ashamed of, right?
Well, no. Modesty means that you think about what's appropriate. It's important to remember that you're made in the image of God. He gave you your bodies, and you should think of them as a gift. But like every gift from God, we have to be responsible with what we're given. No gift from God should be wasted.
There are a lot of ways that people choose not to honor the gift of their bodies. The world has a lot to say about how we treat our bodies, and a lot of it isn't good.
By the time you're my age, you'll hear a lot of different voices telling you about what you should be doing with your bodies. But the Bible gives us 2 words to keep us on track as we learn and grow into Holy Spirit-filled people. Holy and holy. Mama Luma, can I get a little Hala Mahalo assistance?
Happy to.
Holy and holy, from the word whole, as in your whole self, all of you. Holy means set apart. So when the world seems like it has an idea about your body that's not how you'd think God would have you live, it's good to be different. We set ourselves apart in an act of holiness. And holy or whole means that we ought to think about our whole selves.
A lot of what gets people in trouble is they stop thinking of themselves as a whole person. They split it up into this feeling or that feeling. But 1 Corinthians 12 reminds us that it's all connected. We're all connected. There should be no division in the body, but its parts should have equal concern for each other. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it.
So, does that help with your kissing question?
I think so. It all comes down to how we think about our bodies, our whole selves.
I should ask if I'm ignoring a part of who I am before I do something.
And am I living set apart as God would want? Or am I listening to what others are expecting and how they live?
Sounds like you kids got it.
Are you surprised?
Not a bit.
Thanks, Abuelo.
Anytime, Cat.
See? Was that so bad?
That's not what I meant, and you know it.
How about this?
No!